Do you ever feel like you are missing out in life in general? FOMO, right? Maybe a big question to come out of the gate with, but it's something I've been thinking about recently. And January, winter months, maybe towards the end of the year, towards the beginning of a new year, get me in somewhat of a reflective mood or state, right? Where I take some inventory. I kind of look at what I've been doing, and a lot of times I'm very, very focused on what's next. What am I aiming towards? Are my goals in line with what I want to do? Yada, yada, yada. And that can get exhausting. I think, regardless how, like whenever you do that, it can get tiring. So it is kind of nice to take a step back, gain a little perspective, and kind of look at what you've been doing. I guess I asked the FOMO question because this is something I face a lot. Fear of missing out, right? In case I need to clarify, it kind of rolls off the tongue though. It's just FOMO, right? And it's almost like a buzzword in a way. Like, what even is that? Like, is it even real? I mean, because what is missing out? Like, let's examine this for a little bit. Sometimes you might have like, let me think of a good example here, a hypothetical, if you will, right? Maybe someone invites you to a party or to a get-together or to an event or you name it, right? And you kind of want to go, but like you maybe had other plans or you kind of just want to stay in for the night. And then ultimately you decide to do that. You stay in for the night and you don't end up going. And then afterwards you see all these posts on, Instagram, social media, wherever, of how amazing of a time it was. And suddenly you're like, gosh, I should have been there, man. Gee. And then, what the funny thing is? You got to look at the other side of that. Let's say you actually go and it turns out to be like this slog, right? Where you're like, bro, I could have stayed home. You know what? It's like sometimes FOMO, it's not really fair because I feel like you're always missing out on something. Like if you think about it. So I guess I'm kind of answering my own question here of experiencing this fear of missing out or this kind of quote unquote missed opportunity. It isn't always perfect. And this is something I struggle with. I feel like I can be a perfectionist at times, and I look at, if I try to like maximize a lot of things, right? And places it doesn't always make sense, and it can be difficult for me to like fully recognize or look a little deeper within at like, do I actually want to do this? What makes the most sense here, etc. Right? I feel like I used to have a problem of I guess maybe problem is a bit harsh, but like, I would be a little scared, right? Or maybe even avoidant to go to a lot of social gatherings or, interactions in college and whatnot. And, I would just kind of avoid them. I was a bit hesitant. I don't know. It made me anxious. Maybe it was social anxiety. I don't know. But it's funny because whenever I did decide to say yes to something like that and go, I usually had a decent time. I usually loosened up a little bit and, I was able to, just hang out and it wasn't a disaster. And I think tying this back into the missing out thing, right? I think it's like kind of the same thing. Either way you choose is like the right choice, right? Because let's say you decide to go, great. You decided to go. It's when you feel like the obligation or the I should do this, that it can get a little dicey, right? So I don't know. It's a question to ask yourself. And as I said, during these winter months, it's colder. I start kind of looking around. And when I say looking around, I guess I mean, again, reflecting, taking inventory, looking back on things I've done, right? And I feel it's a good and bad. It's good because I can slow down and, kind of take it in. It's bad because I think I'm just a little anxious naturally, right? I don't know how many of you can relate, but if you're watching this, let me know in the comments, right? So that I've especially reflecting when I get into this mode, this mood, however, I get a bit hyper aware of the passage of time, right? Like I'm about to turn 30 this year, and I'm kind of weird, maybe. Like already mentally, I already feel like I am 30, right? I tend to do this thing like when I have a birthday, right? I kind of pretend I'm already like the year ahead, so that by the time I reach that age, it's like no big deal. I've already been this age mentally for like a year. I don't know. Maybe it's just a way to cope. I do this with my clocks as well, kind of as a side note, and this is maybe a free productivity hack for you, if you want to call it that, to set your clocks just a little ahead. Just a little, nothing too intense, but something that's believable, like 5 minutes maybe even 10. Or maybe not even that much, just a little bit ahead. Because you look at the clock and you're like, oh shoot, I'm late. And then it kind of gets you going, and then you realize you're not actually late. Maybe, again, I don't know. It could just be like an anxiety thing for me. I'm not really sure. But either way, I've been a bit like hyper aware of like, how time has passed. I recently found some old like footage, like kind of archival footage. I say old with a lot of emphasis, but it was like, in the 90s, like I was like a baby, right? But like it just kind of hits me, right? Of like, wow, that was that long ago, and time is still passing, like it's not slowing down, right? And so I guess again, I'm tying in a lot of things here, but if we're gonna tie that in to the fear of missing out type of thing, right? The fear of just I guess what I'm saying with that is that as I'm getting older, I'm just trying to make sure I'm like living, I guess, right? A lot of these days, it does feel like it's the work grind. I get home and then I rinse, wash, repeat. In my last video, I talked a little bit about this. If you haven't seen it, there might be a card right here somewhere up at the top where you can like watch that. And I was hoping to record in another outdoor space again, but it is freezing where I'm at. It is like 5 degrees. It's snowing this weekend. It's pretty rough. So I might try to spruce it up next time, but just wanted to share some thoughts, and I wanted to see how you all might deal with this kind of thing, right? For a lot of people I talk to, it's like not that deep. It's like whatever, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway, right? And I try to like, I see opportunities, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, this could be fun, and a lot of times when I'm in this kind of like work, grind, sleep, repeat, kind of phase, kind of breaking the mold a little bit just helps, I don't know, remind me that like there's just more to life, right? And so maybe to you there already is. I have a buddy who really wants me to read more, and I probably should, because especially on days like this when it's cold, picking up a good read, or even putting on a good movie or series or show, or just something to kind of like live another world and like inspire you a little bit can go a long way. And I know that's for sure true. So I don't know if I fully made a point here, but hopefully you can relate. And if you can, leave a comment down below. I like doing these kind of videos now. I think these kind of just stream of consciousness, like talking to the camera, they're pretty fun. So this has been Jacob. I'll see you guys later.